All right, guys, today we're going to be explaining how and why we set up Days Enclosure and, just kind of the things, the thought processes that we put into it. We went over lighting in our last video, but, we put a lot of thought and dedication into these animals, and it might look like a pile of rocks and some sticks and, whatever, but there's actually a lot of thought put into this design. Good morning, Day Day. This is Day. She is about 4 months old, still a little skittish to the touch. But she loves her enclosure, and people ask about how to set up their enclosure and, different things. So I thought it would be a good idea to show you guys just all what we do here and why we did it. So first thing, guys, this is probably the most important tool when you're trying to set up a new enclosure. I use this multiple times a day in my chameleon tanks or enclosures, sorry, or any, all the reptile enclosures. I use it almost every day, just kind of double checking temps. If something seems off, anything like that, definitely get one of these. They go on sale at Costco all the time. They're normally part of a 2-pack, so you can get a new food thermometer as well, dual purpose. Anyway, hi Day. So let's start off with, the basking/warm side here. So obviously you have a little ramp, rocks for her to climb on. You want as flat as possible for the basking stone up there. We found that at the beach. All these sticks, really, all the natural elements to this were scavenged from the beach. Like, this is driftwood that we found and charred. That rock right there was from the Gulf of America or the Gulf of Mexico, depending on what you'd call it. Obviously that hide was purchased. But anyway, just, little things, we do things a little bit differently. We try to reuse, recycle, and try to, look around and not buy right off the bat. Helps keeps costs down and, also gives us something to do as a family living down in Florida. But anyway, so up here, her basking area, this stone right here, normally averages right around 104. I already went over the lighting we use in a different video, so you can check that for wattages and links. That averages 104, 105. Now up here, up towards like this dark area and stuff, that actually gets up into like 110, 116 max. So it's almost perfect. Now, as you come down here, we like to give her options, right? Don't mind her potty pad, we're potty training. This rock right here averages about 100 degrees even. Sometimes it gets up to 101, but it's a nice another flat surface for her to kind of bask on. One of her favorite places is right here, and that's great for the UVB. It's right under the UVB bar, and that averages about 95 degrees. Now, the floor in here is about 95 degrees, like right in here, obviously, if it's not covered by the paper towel. And then in her hide, it's about 90 degrees. And I don't know if you can see in there, she's dug it out pretty well and made herself a little ramp up into it. She looks like a real dragon when she's coming out in the morning. Huh, Day? So then, as we go across the side of the tank, obviously she has her front pathway. This is where you see us feeding her a lot of the time when we're just dropping them in. Before we got that cool feeder from Suncoast Discoids. Shout out Suncoast Discoids. Awesome local feeder. If you're local to Sarasota or Florida, definitely check them out. They only do in-person pickups at the moment, but they're new and they're growing, so give them a follow on Facebook or Instagram. But anyway, back to what my content is. So as you come across here, as you can see, we wanted to give her a way to get across the tank without feeling like she was being seen. So it kind of doubles as a hide back there and gives her that area. Plus, she has this cool sandbox area here. And that's mainly so that, you know, she's a female, so she might start laying eggs or, you know, because reptiles do that even though there's not a male present. So that gives her an area to kind of dig and simulate. So if she starts digging, we can get her lay bin ready, which I'm going to probably have to make another video about. Now, as we get more to the cool side, this side right here, as you can see, averages about 90 degrees and about 40 to 45% humidity depending on the day. Now over in the dry side, it averages closer to 35, 40, just because it's a lot warmer. So we have talked about putting some air holes over on this side, kind of lower, and maybe putting some screen in there to help aid with ventilation. And I mean, it's not off by a lot, but it's not perfect. So, you know, why not try to make it exactly perfect, right? Say we deserve the best, right, Day? So, anyway, again, back to our setup. We have our pathway here. These stones are actually a tile, a natural stone tile. Hey, those are my fingers. I know, you getting hungry? You ready for some roaches? All right, we'll get you fed in a minute. But it's a natural stone tile that we use the calcium sand as like a grout because we do like a natural look, but we are worried about impaction. I need to go through and sweep here. Sorry for the mess. Why haven't you swept yet, Day? I'm showing off your house and it's all dirty. Anyway. So the temps on this side of the tank over here on this cool side normally average a little bit above 80. I think normally like 83 is the average. And now the humidity will go up because I have this door open so much. But now we do have the cool hide. Now the temp in the cool hide is normally right above like what we keep our house at, 78, 77. Sometimes it gets up into 80. So I'm gonna shut this so the humidity doesn't get too high. But yeah, that's Day's tank. Just to kind of go back over the temperature gradients, because honestly, I was pretty proud of myself when I got these all dialed in. Up at the very top here, it's 108 to 116, right? Obviously super strong UVB, super strong heat. Down on the basking area, you have more of an overlap with the UVB and more direct heat. It's averaging 103 to 105. In the hide here is about 90 degrees. Down on the floor, that rock is about 100, 101. The floor here averages about 95. As you get to the middle of the tank, it's going to be normally right around 90, 92, 93, right? And then as you get to this side over here, right, it's in the 80s, low 80s. And then as you get into her hide down here, it's in the upper 70s, or, you know, maybe 80 is the highest I think I've ever got a reading. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in and watching how or why we build out Day's setup. We also have another bearded dragon named Cyrus. His setup's a little bit different. So as you can see here, his setup is a little bit more simplified for right now. He's a few months younger than Day, and we went with a little bit different approach. We wanted more of a rock look with his. We're going to be adding more of the sticks and logs and stuff once he gets a little bit bigger. So over here, he has his cool hide. That's same thing, guys. I run the same setup in both of these tanks light-wise so that I can have almost identical gradients across the board in these tanks. The tanks are different. I prefer this tank, honestly. If I was going to recommend one, I put the link in the description of my lighting video. It'll probably be in the link of here. And obviously, if you see something that you like in any of our videos, whether it's that light, anything, please feel free to comment and I'll send you a link to where we got it if I can. But anyway, back to the content that I'm trying to create. Obviously, we have the same gradient structure throughout this whole tank as in days, but we went with a simplified look. Obviously, a kind of a beach citrus look for Cyrus. He is a citrus tiger, 66% het for a 0. If we ever get into breeding, I think he would make some great babies with any pairing that we put him with. And honestly, I don't think we will get into breeding, but the idea of picking out a baby dragon that we bred ourselves is awesome. Anyway, guys, thanks again for tuning in. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. We're always trying to help new beardy owners. That's literally why we make these videos. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, guys.